Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universes Academy podcast. I'm your host, John Jennings, and with me, as always, is my co-host Ryan. How we doing, Ryan?
I'm good. How's it going, man?
It's going good. As I'm sure you can see on the video portion, we have a special guest co-host with us, making his first official appearance on the pod. Is my son Miles Jennings? Miles, say hi. He's waving whatever toy, quote unquote, that he found on my that I gave to him on my desk.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Today we are wrapping up our Symbols of Peace series. We're gonna start off today. We're gonna talk about some life characters. Life is the final symbol we have, and so we're gonna break down some life characters for you. Um, First off, we're gonna run through all the characters we have. We obviously from the rival deck, we have Izuku Midoriya. We have from the core set, Yaoyoroza, Uraraka, Asui, and Aoyama. From the Plus Ultra packs, we have Shoji and Ashido. And from the DLC pack, we have the second version of Asui. And I'm trying to think, that's that's a pretty good spread of characters. I feel like we got a decent size. There's no five handers, but we got a good mix of six
Mhm.
and seven hand size characters. Um, I feel like if I'm thinking about the best character just right off the bat, I tend to gravitate towards the seven hand size Asui just because she is so powerful.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the characters, Ryan?
I think Asui's really good, but I think the best character is probably Uraraka.
Or Araka? Mhm.
Um, let's see. I guess if we're like strictly looking at life builds, though,
That's fair.
yeah,
Um,
Asui might be a little better off of a life build, but I think if you're just
mhm.
looking at raw character power, I think Uraraka's probably the best.
I
She
could I
gets
could definitely
she
see that argument.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she has like the card pool clearing to get momentum. She gives 3 speed to pull momentum back. She's just doing a lot of good things, man.
Hmm. And I will say, I feel like Uraraka has made the biggest leap one way or the other for all three of us between you, me, and Matt as far as character ranking.
Yeah,
Before the cards really came out, we weren't really sure how well she was gonna do with her looping and pulling things back. But man, Uraraka's a fucking house.
yeah, yeah.
She's real good.
I think the cool thing is there's a few different ways you can build her too. I mean, you don't have to play her meteor shower combo to be successful with her.
Mhm.
So that kind of gives me hope that down the line that you can play her on symbols that aren't air and chaos. Like maybe you can play her on life and have a successful deck as well.
Yeah, and I'll be interested for the DLC version because she has death. Obviously, they swapped out death and life, so she's not in this one. But they'll be
Yeah.
interested to see how that one works too with the death build. Um, One character that you and I both have always been kind of high on, more so than Matt, is Aoyama, and I still think he's an interesting character, and I still want to make a good Aoyama deck. I think with the new Mulligan rules, maybe Aoyama wants to go second to get that extra card to maybe build one more extra time just to
Hmm.
help fuel his powers. Um,
Yeah, I
I
could
think
see
he
that.
has I think he has a lot of good life synergy, especially with Asui because they do share a lot of the card flipping back and forth things, flipping over. Um, he's really going to play. I think it's tongue lashing is her ultra rare.
Hmm.
I think he's a good symbol, a good viable character for that. Um,
Yeah, I
Trying
think
to think.
the more face up, or I'm sorry, the more flipping face up things that they put out, the more viable
Mhm.
he's going to be. But I guess there's always that fear that Eraserhead's going to become prevalent in the format and just make this character have to just kill you with what you have in your hand and never do anything ever again.
Yeah, I will say it's early. Obviously, we haven't had the official start of OP, but just from early tournament results, I'm really kind of surprised at the lack of Eraserhead we're seeing. I know the three of us have always been very high on Eraser and kind of thought of him as a meta-defining character, but I guess maybe the community as a whole, maybe they're just not as interested in playing Eraserhead, or maybe he's just not as good as we thought he was.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he's probably as good as we thought, but Kirishima was just better, so everyone played Kirishima. So
that's fair.
I think that we'll probably see more Eraserhead as people get more comfortable with him and the matchups.
Mhm.
And but anyways, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, no, no. Um, Now, I as far as the promo characters, we have Shoji and Ashido, and obviously spoken about them on other pods. Um, I I still think kind of at this point they're just better off of other symbols.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, the cool thing
Shoji,
with Soji is you can pull back blocks and stuff to artificially increase your hand size. Essentially, you can pull
Hmm.
back, like one difficulty foundations that have good blocks on them, or zero difficulty. But I don't know if there's a deck that screams play shoji right now. I'm sure there will be, like being able to tutor up any card every turn. Well, not any card. Let me rephrase: any foundation or attack, right? So being able to pull back any foundation or attack every turn. Like if they make some sort of foundation that destroys to do something awesome, and you can just pull it back and play it again, that's going to be
Hmm.
pretty sweet.
Yeah, and Shoji's another character you might think about going second with the new Mulligan rules because you can get like two cards back, right? You draw your extra one, and then you can use his power to get a second one. So,
Yeah, so you could like review a zero difficulty foundation and then use his power to pull it back, and also like draw your extra card. Yeah, so you could be 8 hand size on turn one.
which I mean, 829. That's yeah, sign me up for that.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess this guy's basically a 729. If all you're doing is pulling back blocks, like you can pull back a zero difficulty block every turn. I think off
Hmm.
all three symbols, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think you can. And that's pretty strong. I mean, even if it's just a card that you're pitching to pay a cost or to block with, and then if
Hmm.
you want to get kind of crazy and pay 5 life for an attack, you can pull an attack back.
I mean, yeah, if it's that kill turn and you need it, you can certainly go for it. I do also have kind of an affinity for Ashido just because we talked about her before, but man, it's just always fun to play the lottery, right?
Yeah,
Like that's always going to be entertaining. Just to pull that lever. Oh, maybe I'm going to get something great. I'm trying to think what big life attacks or what. I guess if you played her off of maybe Asui getting like a tongue lashing or something like that, man, it would be pretty sweet playing that for free at the end of a turn.
yeah. I mean, I guess the thing is, there's no way to set it up, so you're literally just hoping.
Yeah, you're just hoping and trying to get it at the right time and hoping it hits when you need it to. Um,
Yeah. I mean, with the DLC off of Chaos, Pillar Swing's a pretty fun thing to throw for free. But
yeah.
as far as life goes, there's not any giant attacks right now to throw for free. But yeah, Frog Lashing would be fine. Totally fine.
Hmm. Yeah. I keep calling it tongue lashing. It's frog lashing and tongue smack.
Yeah.
Sorry. Um, I gotta say, I think my biggest disappointment out of the life characters is probably Midoriya. It's either Midoriya or Momo. Um, Momo, I think, is maybe the character who we thought was gonna be kind of a sub tier character who kind of stayed in that area.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe we'll see her again in like set two. Maybe she'll get a new version in set two that'll maybe play nicely with her old support. Hopefully, it would just have a better character power, just be more efficient at what Momo wants to do. I feel like Momo has a very clear path of what she wants to do. It's just she just doesn't do it very well or very effectively to really be a viable character right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't have much else to add about her. And then as far
Yeah.
as Midoriya goes, I think he's probably better than we give him credit for, because he kind of does the same thing that um Bakugo does, where he puts you in a situation where you don't want to block things because you want to
Hmm.
make them play honest. So like Bakugo, you don't want him clearing his card pool and just playing everything at printed difficulty. And with Midoriya, you don't want to take an extra 10 damage, so you're like sitting there like, I don't really want to block this, because then what if he puts 10 damage on the next one, and then I can't pass the check to block? So you're just sitting there like waiting on your opportunity to block where it makes sense, and then they don't even use the ability, and you took like 12 damage or 15 damage, and then you're like, well, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, but at least I didn't take 20.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Midoriya is. I think we've kind of talked about this with other characters, but his ability really is knowing your opponent's deck and knowing the cards they might have to play for using his defensive enhance, which is hard to do on a turn like on one.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I think Life has a couple of strong characters. I think obviously in the core set Asui, the
Mm.
DLC Asui is. I'm less excited, obviously, about her over the normal Asui. Um, I I just think her package benefits Mineta more so than her DLC cards. The whole putting things in your opponent's card pool. Now she obviously wants to do something different with them because she's discarding them to get extra damage. Which I mean, discarding one card for your opponent's card pool for +4 damage ain't nothing. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
she lets you get value out of your attacks even if they're blocked, right?
mhm,
Which is good. Um, you just have to be at a board state where you can still push damage through
mhm,
and also like add the damage. Like you got to be able to actually hit them after doing this.
yeah, and I mean, her free enhance does punish your opponent for not blocking, gives your attacks more speed. So obviously that does help you push them through. And then life as a symbol tends to have speed enhances on things like that.
Yeah,
That
that
so.
first enhance is definitely a win more thing because it's like if you
Hmm.
don't block, then I'm gonna get +2 speed on the next one.
Hmm.
And if you've blocked anything, I'm also gonna give +4 damage. Or if I add something to your card pool, I'm gonna give +4 damage. And then you're
Yeah,
just like once you don't block the first time, it just gets way harder to ever block again. So she
yeah,
makes you
it's
want to
basically
like block
evolving.
on the front end, and then that just plays right into your +4 damage.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, overall thoughts on life characters. I'd say they have two really strong characters in Uraraka and the Corset Asui. And then kind of maybe like niche deck characters right now.
Hmm.
It's hard to really project the futures on characters. No, yeah, buddy, it's hard since since we don't know
Yeah.
how the characters are going to be and what kind of support they're going to get in sets. Um,
Yeah. So yeah, I think I agree with you that like Uraraka and Asui are probably the two best. But and as you said, there's a bunch of niche like fun characters. I think those characters are pretty interesting. They can do some fun things. Like Life, all in all, has a really interesting character spread. I'll say because they're doing a lot of things that aren't necessarily normal, and it's
mhm.
kind of just fun. There's a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our discussion on life characters. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about some life attacks.